Gentlemen, start your engines.
Points leader Don Thompson Jr. fires up his number 4 Home Hardware Chevrolet, and he'll lead these CASCAR late models for 200 laps here at Mosport Speedway. The CASCAR Super Series lays claim to the tight half-mile oval of Mosport Speedway as Canada's premier racing series fires up for round number 9. The young guns look to be the top guns, while the wily short track veterans seem to be catching their second win.
Rock and roll, let's get it on.
The CASCAR Super Series National Tour thunders into Bowmanville, Ontario for the Mosport Speedway 200. Hello again, everyone. I'm Ron St. Clair, along with Todd Lewis in the booth. And Mosport's very own Glenn Butt is trackside.
Hey, Ronnie, great to be alongside you. And as we move in on the starting grid, looks like the number 64 NTN Bearings car of Mark Dilley might need a little help getting started in this one. The crew already lined up behind the car. Mark Dilley might need a little help getting going.
Well, Don Thompson Jr. in an old backup Home Hardware Chevrolet didn't need any help today. Captured his 14th career Mopar pole in a time of 22.059 seconds.
Don Thompson loves this track, always does well here, adds a few points to his lead over Kerry Mix as we head into tonight's event. Kennington, Fair, Steckley also right up there in the points.
Well, that is one of the tightest points battles I think we've ever seen in CASCAR as well as we get ready to roll here. And the man who sits 6 in points needs a hand getting rolling. Looks like maybe a clutch problem or something there for the NTN Bearing Intrepid of Mark Dilley. Let's take a look now at the starting grid for the Mosport Speedway 200. Don Thompson Jr. on the pole, David Whitlock in the Unitech NMT Intrepid alongside him. Row 2, Kerry Mix sitting 2nd in points. And Pete Gibbons, who's enjoyed success here, he'll roll 4th. There's Mark Dilley starting 5th in the NTN Bearing Intrepid. Scott Steckley in the Milverton and the Schick Extreme Pontiac 6th. Brad Graham and Ron Beauchamp Jr. occupy row number 4. Back in row 5, DJ Kennington out of St. Thomas. A lot of recent success for him and really coming on strong. Jeff Lapsovich alongside him in the Tim Hortons Monte Carlo. Pete Vanderwist, limited schedule, and Jim Lapsovich in car number 25, roll from row 6. Row 7, way back for Neil Fair, the Lancaster, and the Skoal Max Intrepid. Joe Gonzalez beside him. Dave Jacobs and Doug Brown in that Napa Auto Pro Pontiac. Row number 9 features the youngster Cole Perrin, the Mount Bridges, the Kubota Pontiac, and rookie Brian Cathcart from Peterborough, the National Fast Trade Intrepid. Kenny 4th and Mike Elguire back in row number 10. And then back in the 11th row, John Fitzpatrick in the Cambridge Rigging Chevrolet. That's the start from the back of the pack.
We were expecting to have 22 starters, but unfortunately for Sean Stafford, he blew a camshaft and will not be able to start today's event. Mosport is famous for being tough on brakes. Here's a look at the shot of DJ Kennington's brakes in the number 37 Castrol Snap-on Intrepid. We'll get great looks at that through the rakes.
Look now at the Inside Track Motorsport News race analysis, and as you see, the 21 cars in this half mile, long straightaway, so that backs up your theory, Todd, with the brakes, and pretty close to $90,000 up for grabs here in this 200 lapper. Third time we've had a 200 lapper here.
Everybody buckled in, everybody lined up. Let's get ready to go. We're waiting for the green flag to go racing.
They can get some serious speeds here on these big long straightaways, but awfully tough getting through the corners. 1 and 2, not too much of an issue here, Todd, but we'll see at the far end as they blast down the back straightaway. It's kind of a strange corner. You get into 3 here. A short little shoot, and then off at turn number 4.
And you've got to be able to carry that speed and build it all the way down the long straightaway and carry it in through the corners. That's the key. We see a little bit of movement already. Kerry Mix trying to make the move to the inside of the number 1 car. Pete Gibbons heading out of 2.
You're clear.
And the spotters very important at this track. They're important at every race in CASCAR, but they get some great speeds here as we ride on board with Ron Beauchamp Jr. out of Windsor, Ontario.
Have a view out the front window of Ron Beauchamp Jr. That's Scott Steckley in the Schick Extreme 3 Pontiac. Just took the spot away from Ron Jr. and got to save those brakes, Ron. Got to save those brakes. I know it's early, but we got to talk about it already.
Well, I think Pete Gibbons doing a pretty good job of that. He just backed off there last lap to let that 0-2 of Kerry Mix in line. It's a long race, and these cars will have to stop for fuel, and obviously tires will be an issue on this track as well over the long haul.
Smooth race so far in the early going. Don Thompson Jr. leads from the drop of the green flag, and we mentioned off the top that Don Thompson Jr. has been so strong at this track, but already we've got some guys being a little bit aggressive. Kerry Mix doing a little bumping, and Ron Beauchamp Jr. wants that spot back.
Dave Jacobs problems here, though, off of turn number 2. He loops the car around. Let's see if we'll get a caution flag. He gets it fired here and rolling. And it it does appear, yes, the caution flag will come out here on lap number 4. So under caution for the first time as a result of Dave Jacobs having a little spin. Dave sitting 11th in points. Here's Glenn Butt for the first time.
Thanks, guys. Cole Bird brings the Pontiac down pit lane. Some fiberglass work to be repaired. They got the duct tape going right now, and they'll send Cole back out on the track.
Pretty good crew, though. They'll get him going, and looks like he was obviously involved in that. There's the two-time national champion leading.
Vince and Ben Horn, weeknights at 6:30 on Sportsnet News.
You know what you never see in car commercials? Real cars. Cars that need new Castrol GTX high mileage. It protects against oil burn-off better than other leading motor oils. New Castrol GTX high mileage. It helps older cars feel young again.
I'm DJ Kennington, driver of the number 37 Castrol Snap-on Intrepid. You know, most of the setup that goes into this car happens before we go racing, because when I hit that loud pedal, I demand performance. That's why we use Castrol Syntec. It's formulated to keep engines running cool and smooth, even when things get a little bumpy. Castrol Syntec, the most important thing you can do for your car.
For CASCAR champion Mark Dilley, everything he has is riding on NTN's heavy-duty wheel and transmission bearings. Whether you're moving race cars from track to track or hauling freight, NTN's heavy-duty wheel bearings will maximize uptime and safety. And that's why North American heavy-duty truck and trailer OEMs rely on NTN bearings to carry the load. Contact your local OEM truck dealer today about installing NTN truck and trailer precision bearings on your tractor. Ask for NTN, the heavy-duty bearing.
You know what you never see in car commercials? Real cars. Cars that need new Castrol GTX high mileage. It protects against oil burn-off better than other leading motor oils. New Castrol GTX high mileage. It helps older cars feel young again.
The 9th round of the 2003 CASCAR Super Series is brought to you by Mopar. Original equipment, parts, and accessories. Fuel your passion. By NTN Bearings, the official bearing of CASCAR. And by Castrol Syntec, the most important thing you can do for your car. Lap 9 and back to green here in Mosport.
Quick early caution. Everybody gets all settled. We're ready to go racing again. Look at Kerry Mix already making a move to the inside of Dave Whitlock. He wants to chase down Don Thompson Jr. not only in this race, of course, he's chasing him in the championship. He needs to have Donnie finish behind him if he's going to make up any ground in this race.
Donnie did pick up a couple of points in qualifying, and so unofficially I've got him right now at 28 points ahead, and that's up to date as they blast down across the line. David Whitlock right there, though, Todd, real good story on him. This is career start number 120.
Still there. Outside, you're clear.
And that ties him for third all-time with Brad Jakes, just behind Kerry Mix and Rob Neely.
We saw Pete Gibbons taking the spot away from Dave Whitlock. A very interesting season for Dave Whitlock, of course. Doesn't have the big primary sponsor as he's had for so many years, but they put together great sponsorship packages for a couple of races at a time, or a race here and a race there, and this Whitlock Motorsports team very strong.
Blasting down into turn 3, that great camera location here at Mosport. Unitech helping out Whitlock this weekend along with their season-long sponsor, Nitrex Metal Technologies. But it's the home hardware Chevrolet of Don Thompson Jr. leading that UFCW Ford Taurus of Kerry Mix.
That front pair followed by Peter Gibbons, who's had a couple of race wins already this season, and that's Peter's thing. He likes to win races. Kerry being pretty aggressive early in this one, and it's continuing as he's trying to get in front of Donnie now.
Kind of always referred to Kerry really as the Canadian version of the Intimidator. Here he is. That time in no contact, but boy, he's right on that rear bumper. Look at Donnie out there just sunbathing in the home hardware Chevy today.
Looks pretty relaxed for a guy who's chasing him in points, chasing him on the track, and getting a pretty good run on the home hardware Chevy as they come out of turn number 4 and head down that long straightaway.
Yeah, the front two starting to open up a little distance here now on Pete Gibbons in car number 1. Also a former winner here at this track. There's Mark Dilley trying to chase down his teammate. Further back in the pack now, we see the 33 of Neil Fair and Brad Graham with a pretty good battle. Unlucky 13th position up for grabs. It's been a tough ride here today. Boy, Neil Fair, they tried everything. It was pushing, it was loose. They couldn't get that car to go around the corner no-how, and it showed in their starting spot, Todd, way back. Well, same situation with Brad Graham. Been very fast at a number of races this season. He's well back in the field as well. These two guys not having any trouble so far. Kerry Mix, Don Thompson Jr. battling for top spot in the points, battling for top spot here today, and they don't seem to be having any problems with this track, even though the conditions are changing a bit now that the sun's starting to set. Well, you talk about Brad Graham. There's Mark Dilley, though, in the 64. Ron Beauchamp Jr. hanging in that lead group. We'll get a look at him out the back of Dilley. But Graham coming off the pole position in their last race and had to start well back. So it's been a tough season for a lot of guys. On board with Ron Beauchamp Jr., you can see the sunshine peeking through as he comes out of turn number 4 and heads down the front straight. That's something that these guys are going to have to battle. And speaking of battles, Mike Alguire's got one on his hands as well. That car behind the wall, hood up on the Alguire machine. Yeah, look maybe at the rear end gear as well there for the London driver. Limited schedule for him. Off of turn number 4 now, the battle for third. Gibbons holding off Whitlock, but the leaders blast down to the line to click another one on here. And it's 4 bonus points to lead a lap, and with the points battle as tight as it is right now, every lap is important. Well, that's why Kerry's battling so hard to get in front of Don Thompson Jr. Of course, he out-qualified him, and Dave Whitlock having a look now up the inside of Peter Gibbons, and not going to quite get it done going in through 3 and 4 this time, but Dave Whitlock getting stronger as this one goes on. Well, that's the thing. You've got that big Dodge horsepower coming off the straightaways and into the corner, but Gibbons just running the smooth line. He'll glide into the corner, and of course Whitlock had to jam on the brakes to get in there, lost a little momentum. But these corners here at Mosport are tricky, maybe the trickiest of all the tracks. That's a great camera shot, though, for a lot of reasons. You can see who's sticking to the bottom and who's not. Shadows starting to appear here at Mosport. One driver having problems. Here's Glenn.
Mike, a tough break early in the race. What happened to put you here?
Yeah, it's a real shame. You know, the industrial waterproofing, 8-door construction, Hunter Motorsports, Pontiac was running real good. We lost oil pressure. It just started to slow down a little bit in the gauge. I noticed on the caution, the gauge was down about 20 pounds. And we just can't afford to blow it up. And it looks like it's spitting oil out through the oil system, so internal problem. But we'll be back at Delaware. We'll be there.
Well, that's his home track. He was a street stock champion a few years ago at Delaware Speedway in the CASCAR street stock division. Don Thompson Jr., the points leader, leading the man who sits second in points, Kerry Mix, here at Mosport.
At Mopar, there's something new happening. Something that's going to fuel your passion. On the racetrack and in the streets, Mopar has the answer. Whether you're a pro racer, Dodge truck owner, or getting real with your sport compact, Mopar has the original equipment, parts, and accessories for your Chrysler, Jeep, or Dodge vehicle. So get in the game with parts and accessories by Mopar. Fuel your passion.
It generates more power than ever before. It generates more heat than ever before. That's why today's harder working engine needs Castrol GTX, engineered for the best protection against viscosity and thermal breakdown of any leading oil. Castrol GTX, put it in.
For 2 grueling years, he showed the world, if you reach for your dreams, anything is possible. And for 15 years since, helping tens of thousands to rise as he did and reach for their own dreams. Even the dream to stand up and walk away.
Hi, this is James Turner. This message has been brought to you by Blue Streak and the Turner family. Please help us support the Rick Hansen Man in Motion Foundation.
Evolution, the gradual development from a simple to a more complex sport. Now, the next stage of the evolutionary process has reached sports television. Sportsnet High Definition, a new channel where the picture is 5 times the resolution of an ordinary TV. Simply put, it's sports better than you've ever seen it before. To order, call your television provider or visit sportsnet.ca. Sportsnet HD, the evolution of sports television, is here. In association with Samsung Digital, everyone's invited.
Welcome back to Mosport Speedway and the CASCAR Super Series race. A 200 lapper here is David Whitlock. Tries the inside again on Pete Gibbons.
Lurking closely behind, Mark Dilley in the NTN Bearings Intrepid. He had that little trouble getting way off the start, but doesn't seem to be slowing him down now. He's trying to follow his teammate right through the inside of Peter Gibbons and pick up that spot as well. Oh, Gibbons goes high, and there goes Dilley.
Yeah, look at that. Two of them will go through. Dilley won here.
Clear down.
Dilley won here back in 2001. It was a 250 lapper then. In fact, we've had two 250 lappers over the years here at Mosport. Don Thompson Jr., the other winner. And there he is leading this race still in the early going, mind you.
Donnie close to putting a lap on Cole Pern, who was involved in that incident a little bit earlier. You see a little bit of body work flapping, and this is the problem that they're going to have to run into now. Not to use up too much of the brakes as they start to put cars a few laps down.
Well, they've really checked out on third place Whitlock, that's for sure. Also out front of Cole Pern right now is number 71, Brian Cathcart, the leading rookie in the CASCAR Super Series standings, as we ride on board with St. Thomas driver DJ Kennington.
There we see the shot of DJ Kennington's brakes. Already starting to see some red glow on the brake rotors, and that'll get brighter and brighter as this one goes along. You see the shock absorbers absorbing the bumps on this track as well, and that's a real workout for these cars.
Fair amount of travel in that shock for sure. Steckley and Ron Beauchamp Jr. a good battle up off of turn number 4 down to the line, and also the 25 of Jim Lapsevich in the hunt. Our Syntec profiler looks at the Windsor driver, 35 years of age, 4 children. He works right at the Daimler Chrysler plant. Came up through the ranks like so many other drivers, street stock. He was a CASCAR Rookie of the Year back in 1990.
And he was a 1998 Eastern Series champion. Dad Ron Sr. builds the motors, and Ron Beauchamp Jr. puts the power down out on the track.
Looks like Jimmy Lapsevich got by him, though. And look at this. The battle for the lead now as Kerry Mix works to the inside of Don Thompson Jr. Donnie sees him there, and there's nothing he can do, though. He's trying to hold him off.
And there goes Kerry to the inside, holding on to the spot, and there's the lead change. Kerry Mix is going to take him heading down towards the back. Oh, maybe not.
Now here comes Donnie back on the outside again. They're seesawing back and forth. But here comes Mixie to the inside through the apex of 3 and 4.
The expression on Don Thompson Jr.'s face has certainly changed from a little earlier in this race, Ron. He's not nearly as relaxed as he was at the beginning.
You can't tell me these guys don't enjoy this. This has to be a lot of fun for a driver.
Lap after lap, door to door, door to door. Is Mixie going to get the spot this time? I think so.
Ford Chevrolet battle for the lead. They're 1 and 2 in national points as well. Here's that little short shoot through 3 and 4. And then back through the corner again, and it'll be Kerry Mix to the line, or will it? No! Donnie beats him there again.
Unbelievable. This is the battle that we've been having all season long in terms of the points, and now we're getting to see it head-to-head on the track. Kerry's almost got the whole car past Donnie. Can he make it stick this time around?
Well, I think he's got him here. He's got the inside, too, which is the preferred groove, obviously, because he can always bounce off the 4 if he has to. He'll get him this time, and Kerry Mix picks up 4 bonus points at the lines.
All that work, and that will count as only 1 lead change, because that's when they count them as they cross the line. But Kerry Mix takes those 4 valuable points. Robbie got a report that the 88 car is smoking just a little bit on this track.
You got to look at that 14 car, John Fitzpatrick, as well. That's an old Joe Plazik car. More on that in a moment. But right now, let's update that 88 situation.
Randy, there's been some reports of smoke coming from the car. Has Dave said anything about that? Is there a problem?
I don't think there's any problem, Glenn. I think it's just the left front wheels locking up when he goes into the corner, making a little bit of smoke. I don't think there's any problem with the car.
Doesn't seem to be a problem with the cars, guys.
All right, thanks a lot, Glenn. Whoa, look at this. John Fitzpatrick drops a wheel off of turn number 4, gathers it up. That, again, is one of the Joe Plazik cars from last year, the Rookie of the Year winner in CASCAR for 2002. That car also set the rookie record at 22.258 a year ago here.
Don Thompson Jr., who we see chasing Kerry Mix, is driving an old John Fitzpatrick car. Now, of course, the team lost their cars when their rig was stolen on the recent trip to St. Eustache, and Donnie has adapted that car for his purposes.
Pete Gibbons and DJ Kennington. Looks like they're going to put a lap on this year's rookie, number 71, Brian Cathcart. Hey, back to the theme of cars for a moment here. The number 10 Napa Auto Pro car just got lapped here moments ago. That's an old 96 Fletcher chassis. So we've got a whole bunch of different makes and manufacturers in the field.
Battle up front again, Don Thompson Jr., Kerry Mix. Donnie's trying to use Dave Jacobs' car to block Kerry Mix and retake the lead. But no, Kerry Mix is going to try and hold on to that spot, and he's going to use Dave Jacobs for a while now.
Well, this is a great battle for the lead as they work up to turn number 3. Thompson to the inside. Mix, though, this time with the preferred groove, surprisingly enough, on the outside, but that's only because of the traffic there.
The other thing you have to remember now is when they're using these cars to get around each other, they're using up their brakes as well. This is a long race, 200 laps, and you've got to have some brakes left for the end.
DJ Kennington, the battle for 5th. He started back in 9th spot, so he's charging through the field. Get by the number 1 of Pete Gibbons and really pulls away, too. Opens up about 3 car lengths. But it's still Kerry Mix up front working through traffic.
Joe Gonzalez going a lap down. We haven't seen Joe Gonzalez since the Indy race in Toronto. He didn't make the trip to Quebec. Nice to see Joe back out on track, and he's had some pretty good runs this year.
On board with Kerry Mix. Yeah, Joe's got a couple of new sponsors here, too. Belt Performance and also Signs Alive, helping out with Holmar Plumbing, his regular sponsor. He considers this his home track, as does Neil Fair. And Mark Dilley sure liked the track a couple of years ago when he won that 250-lapper as he gets by his teammate David Whitlock.
And quickly put some space between himself and Dave Whitlock. You wonder if Whit's maybe got a little bit of trouble, but Mark Dilley having a good run right now.
Up to 3rd. You can hear how they really let off in these corners. You just have to glide through here. You can't jump on the throttle too quick. RPM range went way down there for Dilley.
See the shadows creeping across the track as well. This, as we mentioned, the track is going to change as this race goes on. Sun sets, less sunshine on the track, the conditions change. It's the guy who's got the right setup for the entire 200 laps that's going to be the winner, and right now it's Kerry Mix out front.
Well, will Don Thompson get some a hand here from his teammate, John Fitzpatrick? No. And Mix will blow by the 14 car. Thompson will come through on the inside as well. So the 14 car, Fitzpatrick, not helping out that time around. A little too early anyway, maybe to be teaming up on the other guys.
Now the spotter for John Fitzpatrick's got to get a little more on the ball. That's Don Thompson's brother, Dennis, spotting for Fitzpatrick.
Had a brief look at that number 10 car again at Doug Brown. Interesting story. We talked about the length, the age of that chassis. Also nice to see Sammy Rounce back out helping to crew that 10 car. He had 6 bypass surgeries over this summer, so great to see him out.
Look at the traffic jam we've got here. That's DJ Kennington, and oh, now a spin. Brian Cathcart spins the car, and looks like this will bring out a caution.
Yeah, right down there in a very dangerous position as well. He'll loop the car around and get going, though, so no major problems for him, but it does bring out our second caution. As Sean Gibbs up in the starter's stand looks over the field under yellow, and we've got pit stop action coming in here on pit road is Pete Gibbons, Ron Beauchamp Jr., all the hitters.
Yeah, a tough, tight spot for Ron Beauchamp Jr. having to go around Pete Gibbons. And the team goes to work. 2 right side tires for Ron Jr. And Pete Gibbons doesn't seem to have a problem with the handling of the car. He's got a little problem handling getting out right now, but he does make his way clear and lets Pete Vanderwist through.
Yeah, first time we had a look at Pete Vanderwist. There's DJ Kennington and the Castrol Snap-on Tools Intrepid. They go to work. One time only during this race, you're allowed to take on 2 tires. Beauchamp did. They're down and away. Scott Steckley looks like just maybe the 1 tire, but they're also looking underneath here.
Reported to have maybe transmission troubles for the Schick Extreme 3 car, and it's been a battle for them. Kerry Mix battles up front right now with Don Thompson Jr. More from Mosport when we return.
At Mopar, there's something new happening. Something that's going to fuel your passion. On the racetrack and in the streets, Mopar has the answer. Whether you're a pro racer, Dodge truck owner, or getting real with your sport compact, Mopar has the original equipment, parts, and accessories for your Chrysler, Jeep, or Dodge vehicle. So get in the game with parts and accessories by Mopar. Fuel your passion.
At Cayuga 2000 Speedway, Molson Canadian presents the final CASCAR Super Series race of the year. Watch as Kerry Mix and DJ Kennington aim to dethrone champion Don Thompson Jr.
The Iron Man knows how to win. I've already beat them both before. Bring it on. The champ is ready.
Cayuga 2000 Speedway. Weekend family fun and overnight camping. A corn roast, live entertainment, along with CarQuest Sportsman and Championship CASCAR Super Series action. September 27th and 28th.
At CarQuest, our people go above and beyond the call of duty to help the technician working on your car by supplying them with superior service and only quality auto parts. With almost 4,000 stores and over 130,000 CarQuest parts to choose from, we'll be there when you need us. CarQuest, the professional choice.
I'm DJ Kennington, driver of the number 37 Castrol Snap-on Intrepid. You know, most of the setup that goes into this car happens before we go racing, because when I hit that loud pedal, I demand performance. That's why we use Castrol Syntec. It's formulated to keep engines running cool and smooth, even when things get a little bumpy. Castrol Syntec, the most important thing you can do for your car.
Back at Mosport Speedway in the 200-lap CASCAR event, I'm Ron St. Clair along with Todd Lewis, Glenn Butt trackside. Back to green, and it's still Kerry Mix out front. Don Thompson Jr. running second, and in third, Mark Dilley.
Dilley trying not to let those front runners get too far away. Don Thompson Jr. got passed by Kerry Mix, and the two of them escaped away from the rest of the field, and Mark Dilley would not like to have that happen again. There we see the Schick Extreme 3 car of Scott Steckley along pit road, a long stop, and, well, maybe next year it's going to be Scott Steckley in a truck as opposed to a race car, Ron.
Yeah, Craftsman Truck Series, apparently they got a deal in the works right now, so we wish him the best of luck. Off the pace here today, though, as we look at Don Thompson Jr. in the Home Hardware Chevrolet, and right up on the rear deck of the 02 of Kerry Mix. Back in fifth right now, though, just off our screen here is the 25 of Lapsevich, charging hard, started 12th, up 7 spots already today.
Great complex, this Mosport racetrack. We talk so much about the road course at Mosport that we sometimes forget about this great half-mile oval, which produces some terrific racing. Of course, they have the Bridgestone Racing School here as well. It's all run by Miles Brandt, owned by Don Panos, and of course, Glenn Butt keeps them both in line.
Well, there's the 25 of Lapsevich going around the lap car of Dougie Brown. Now, that 25 car is an old Fitzpatrick machine as well, an old chassis, 2000 chassis that Jimmy's driving around here today. Don Thompson trying to close the gap here in Kerry Mix in the battle for the lead here in Mosport.
And Mark Dilley doing his best to try and make it a 3-car battle, but those front two seem to be creeping away just a little bit on every lap. Mark Dilley is really struggling now to try to keep pace with both Kerry Mix and Don Thompson Jr.
Thompson having a look on the inside again as Steckley comes off of pit road one more time. He's in and out a couple of times here today in that Schick Extreme Pontiac. Good luck here as they blast up into turn number 3, and Mix will shut the door.
Don Thompson Jr. thought better of it. Oh, a little battle there further back between the 77 car, Pete Vanderwist, and the number 23 of Jeff Lapsevich.
And the beneficiary of all of that was number 1, Pete Gibbons, moving up a spot. On board here with Ron Beauchamp Jr. now, just inside the top 10 here in Mosport today.
Here's the battle between Chevy Power and Intrepid Power. Ron Jr. looks to the inside and tries to put that power down and power around. Jeff Lapsevich looks like he's taking the spot away.
Good piece of driving there, and now Gibbons working on the 77 of Vanderwist, but with the lap car of Brown there, he has to hold off here. This race will resume here next time around, I'm sure, though. Gibbons is relentless in his pursuit.
Yeah, Pete doesn't mind sticking that yellow bumper right up underneath the cars in front of him, try to create a little space, and as soon as they clear that lap car, he'll be all over Pete Vanderwist once again.
There's 23 and Jeff Lapsevich having a good run. Of course, won both Toronto and Vancouver, Olsen Indies. Up front, still Kerry Mix. He's racing in the search for the cure for leukemia this year, and he's done a terrific job. Also doing a terrific job in the points, as previously mentioned, sitting second behind Don Thompson Jr. in the Home Hardware number 4 Chevrolet.
Was wondering for a second if Donnie was going to ease up a little bit and try to save some of those brakes, but he looks like he's come back underneath Kerry Mix once again. And talk about brakes, they're getting brighter and brighter on DJ Kennington's Castrol Syntec Intrepid.
What a cool shot that was, too. You can see the 37-inch by the 23 right through the brake rotors on that last shot. And it looks like he'll get him up here in the corner. The 88 of Dave Jacobs, albeit a lap down, will move that in Roble FAG Taurus by the 23 car as well.
Even though those brakes are a bright cherry red right now, DJ Kennington able to move by the car of Jeff Lapsevich. Back up front, it's Kerry Mix, still leading Don Thompson Jr. And what a battle these two have had. It's been amazing to watch for this whole race. They are just right on each other's bumper. Donnie not letting Kerry Mix get away at all.
Oh, here he comes. Thompson had a look there on the inside. Nice trivia question here for you, Todd. Best ever finishing rookie, second place back in 1991. Who do you think that was?
That was a little before my time.
That was right there, number 4, Don Thompson Jr. in his rookie season. He's won here twice, actually 3 times over the years. But in his rookie year, he proved he was going to be a factor in CASCAR racing.
Pete Gibbons leading Pete Vander was there. Of course, he took the spot just a little while ago, but Peter had been a little off the pace tonight. He hasn't been able to catch up with those leaders. We're used to seeing Gibbons run up front as well. On board once again with DJ Kennington and his battle with buddy Ron Beauchamp Jr.
Yeah, he hasn't reached over to this water bottle yet to have a drink in a while, but we saw right behind him, wow, he looks like a nice move here. Inside of Beauchamp, couple of Intrepids battling for position. Right behind him, we saw the 88 of Jacobs last time by. He's still puffing on a little bit of smoke in that Taurus.
DJ Kennington holding the inside, and trying to take the spot away from Ron Jr. Completes the pass, heads out towards turn number 1. Nice move by Kennington.
Well, the day started 22 degrees, lots of sunshine, a little windy, but it's cooling off just a little bit. Still everybody in their t-shirt, and a real good crowd on hand here in Mosport tonight, too, I might add.
And a real good battle up front. Look at Donnie chasing down Kerry Mix. This one's going to be great all the way to the end. Back with more from Mosport when we return.
For CASCAR champion Mark Dilley, everything he has is riding on NTN's heavy-duty wheel and transmission bearings. Whether you're moving race cars from track to track or hauling freight, NTN's heavy-duty wheel bearings will maximize uptime and safety. And that's why North American heavy-duty truck and trailer OEMs rely on NTN bearings to carry the load. Contact your local OEM truck dealer today about installing NTN truck and trailer precision bearings on your tractor. Ask for NTN, the heavy-duty bearing.
At Cayuga 2000 Speedway, Molson Canadian presents the final CASCAR Super Series race of the year. Watch as Kerry Mix and DJ Kennington aim to dethrone champion Don Thompson Jr.
The Iron Man knows how to win. I've already beat them both before. Bring it on. The champ is ready.
Cayuga 2000 Speedway, weekend family fun and overnight camping, a corn roast, live entertainment, along with CarQuest Sportsman and Championship CASCAR Super Series action, September 27th and 28th.
At CarQuest, our people go above and beyond the call of duty to help the technician working on your car by supplying them with superior service, only quality auto parts. With almost 4,000 stores and over 130,000 CarQuest parts to choose from, we'll be there when you need us. CarQuest, the professional choice.
For 2 grueling years, he showed the world, if you reach for your dreams, anything is possible. And for 15 years since, helping tens of thousands to rise as he did and reach for their own dreams. Even the dream to stand up and walk away.
Hi, this is James Turner. This message has been brought to you by Blue Streak and the Turner family. Please help us support the Rick Hansen Man in Motion Foundation.
Welcome back to the Mosport Speedway 200. The leader, 02, Kerry Mix, still trying to hold off Don Thompson Jr., that number 4 Home Hardware Chevrolet.
Look at the heavy traffic that these two are having to work their way through. The Kubota Pontiac with Cole Kern to the inside, and hey, they're already catching up to the 19 and the 60 car, Ron Beauchamp Jr.
Yeah, Beauchamp, that's really surprising off the pace, maybe tire wear there. Meantime, DJ Kennington, brand new power plant, Doug Sr. building the motor, and they dynoed it at Beauchamp's, and they save 525 horsepower under that 37 car as he goes by the one of Gibbons up into 6th spot. Problems down in the pits, though, with Scott Steckley.
Scott, a real tough break. You're in and out of pit lane, and now you're behind the wall.
Yeah, the car was real good tonight. We're just taking our time running in 6th spot or something, and the shifter and the transmission broke, and we came in, that got us some laps down, and then something happened to the motor.
Looks like that might be the night for them. Tough break for Scott Steckley. Guys?
Tough break for the 23 car of Jeff Lapsovich as well. A little smoke trailing, but he's been smoking for about 10 laps or so. On Hignall and the crew going over to try and examine where that smoke is coming from.
Well, up front, we've got a great battle waging here down into the corner, and look at this, lots of traffic, 2 wide out front of the race leader, so Mixie just pulls it down to the bottom, no problem. He'll make it 3 wide down the back straight. Look
Flying
at this.
in formation as they head into corner 3.
Wow. And really red-hot rotors on that 19 car. That may be the problem there for that Brad Graham machine. As we're past the halfway point in this 200 lapper, and I'm sure brakes are a big problem for a lot of cars, but his are red hot right now.
A little breathing space for Mixie as well. We'll see if he can put a little distance between himself and Don Thompson Jr. and then maybe ease up on those brakes just a little bit.
Just saw the back end of that 60 car. Ron Beauchamp Jr. sachet a little bit off the corners, and right there a little bit as well. Tire wear a problem for him here past the halfway point. Mark Dilley, though, in that NTM bearing, Intrepid, a solid run here up in third still.
Long green flag run. Those guys that didn't stop for tires earlier in this race, they're the ones who are going to be screaming for a caution right about now, saying, I want to make a pit stop. I need some new tires. You see Lapsevich struggling just a little bit as he's trying to make the move on Dave Whitlock.
Yeah, Jimmy Lapsevich just up over 100 career starts in CASCAR right now as we go on board with DJ Kennington. Interesting about DJ, he is the first of this lead group of cars on fresh tires. So all these other guys, the leader, Kerry Mix, Don Thompson Jr., even Dilley, they're going to have to come in and pit at some point. DJ has already done that.
One of the men DJ's chasing, Dave Whitlock, hasn't made a stop for tires yet either. We heard about Jeff Lapsevich problems. Let's find out more.
Jeff, not your day. What happened?
Something went wrong with the rear end. It looks like the pump didn't malfunction or something, and just heated up and blew the gasket out, and we've cooked our gear now.
Tough break for Jeff Lapsevich. Was hoping for a good run on the oval.
Yeah, well, he would like to get a win on an oval eventually. He had the 2 this year on the road courses. The leaders drive on by. Look at the rest of the field coming off the corner. There's DJ Kennington again, car number 37, looking to move to the inside of Jim Lapsevich. And this will be for position here for 5th. Kennington will get him off the corner and up to the line. He's now in 5th spot.
There's that battle between Intrepid Power and Chevrolet Power again. DJ Kennington making the inside work, having Jim Lapsevich take the long way around, and now he's chasing down Dave Whitlock along the backstretch.
Also a good example of what fresh tires will do is they get by Joe Gonzalez in that 93 car. And so now Kennington moving right in on David Whitlock. Whitlock is on the old tires as well, and you can see, look at this, Kennington is just on a roll right now.
DJ Kennington, well, he had the inside working. Can he make the outside work for Dave Whitlock? Looks like no problem so far as he powers down coming out of number 2, and he'll wrap around Whitlock to try to take that spot coming out of 4.
Wow, you know, that car's going wherever he wants to put it. He had a look down low, then he went up to the top, and the car is just going wherever he wants to stick the nose, so it's good. This is a battle here for position as well. Both the 25 of Lapsevich and the 39 of Whitlock on old tires, but they're running about comparable times here.
Back up front, it's Kerry Mix still leading Don Thompson Jr. And remember, neither of these 2 drivers have made the stop yet for fuel and for tires, so we're going to see how this shakes out as Kennington has the fresh tires, but Mix and Thompson don't.
Wouldn't it be something? This race here at Mosport tonight on this half mile could be won under the green on pit road if things keep going like this. Here's the Canadian Tire Chevrolet. Pete Gibbons getting by the 25 now, or at least trying to. And he might pull the 77 of Vanderwish through. They both have new tires.
Oh, poor Jim Lapsevich. He has got to be just screaming for a caution right now. You can see him battling the handling of that number 25 Tim Horton Chevrolet all over the track. And he would love some fresh tires so he can get up and fight with these guys again.
Don Thompson Jr. looks to the inside of Kerry Mix. A lead change down into turn number 1. He'll get him as Mix goes, whoa, look at this. He diamonds off the corner, comes back on the inside.
Donnie's getting into this one. The visor's down, the concentration up. Now he's got the lead again, and he wants to keep Kerry Mix behind him. He wants to keep that points lead. A little touch there.
Ooh. Yeah, it's interesting. Earlier, you know, the sun was shining, Todd, as they make contact, and Mix goes through on the inside. The sun was shining earlier. Donnie didn't have the visor down. Now it's getting dark, and he's got the visor down. What's up with that?
I don't know. Maybe he took the sunglasses. Oh, there's a good hit. What a battle between these 2.
He's going to pull that visor back up here soon. I can give Mix the old stare, I think.
Kerry trying to stretch it out just a little bit so that these 2 can stop rubbing for a little while and settle things down a little bit. I guess Kerry liked being out front.
Lapsevich in on pit road, finally coming in to get tires, but it's going to hurt. It's a green flag stop for Jimmy Lapsevich in the Tim Horton Chevrolet down and away, but losing valuable track positions.
I guess Jimmy just had no choice. He was going backwards so quick that he had to make the stop under green conditions. He's going to go at least a lap down. And hey, Donnie likes being out front too.
But Mix again, diamonds off the corner. He's manufacturing a way to get through 1 and 2, a different way than earlier in the race. Well, it's interesting on pit road, too. Here's Glenn Butt.
Damon Sharp, crew chief for Kerry Mix. Damon, a long green run, and your driver's now in 2nd spot. Has he said anything?
No, he's actually keeping quiet. Car's not too bad, but pace is so fast, we're just going to wear the tires off. And if we're prepared to go for this long run, if it goes green the rest of the way, he's just saving it up to have a bit at the end.
How's his endurance?
He's good. He's fit. The car should be able to be okay for the rest of the way. Just the tire's going to be wearing out soon.
A real thriller here in Mosport. Don't go anywhere. There's lots to be decided on this half mile when we return.
Darren Millard and Mike Joe, weeknights at 10 on Sportsnet News.
You know what you never see in car commercials? Real cars. Cars that need new Castrol GTX high mileage. It protects against oil burn-off better than other leading motor oils. New Castrol GTX high mileage. It helps older cars feel young again.
I'm DJ Kennington, driver of the number 37 Castrol Snap-on Intrepid. You know, most of the setup that goes into this car happens before we go racing, because when I hit that loud pedal, I demand performance. That's why we use Castrol Syntex. It's formulated to keep engines running cool and smooth, even when things get a little bumpy. Castrol Syntec, the most important thing you can do for your car.
At Cayuga 2000 Speedway, Molson Canadian presents the final CASCAR Super Series race of the year. Watch as Kerry Mix and DJ Kennington aim to dethrone champion Don Thompson Jr.
The Iron Man knows how to win. I've already beat them both before. Bring it on. The champ is ready.
Cayuga 2000 Speedway, weekend family fun and overnight camping, a corn roast, live entertainment, along with CarQuest Sportsman and Championship CASCAR Super Series action, September 27th and 28th.
You know what you never see in car commercials? Real cars. Cars that need new Castrol GTX high mileage. It protects against oil burn-off better than other leading motor oils. New Castrol GTX high mileage. It helps older cars feel young again.
Well, the sun is finally set here at Mosport. Number 4, Don Thompson Jr. back out front of Kerry Mix as they click off lap number 136 of 200. And Todd, the battle for third now is beginning to heat up.
DJ Kennington has fresh tires, and he's looking to go around Mark Dilley and pick up that third spot. DJ Kennington, well, tried the outside. Well, maybe the inside will work on Dilley.
There he goes. Look at that. Just blows by him on the outside down into turn number 3. Unbelievable. That car is hooked up and dialed in tonight.
Fresh tires, fresh tires. All those guys up front are going to be wanting more tires, but DJ Kennington's got the fresher tires, and that's why he's able to make up that track position.
Todd, we got a problem on the back straightaway. The 14 of John Fitzpatrick is slowing down. Here he is, and this could be that much-needed caution they need. This car is off the pace, out of power. He stops on the back straightaway.
Don Thompson Jr. leading this race. His teammate, John Fitzpatrick, with difficulties, but how fortuitous for the leader.
Whoa, talk about perfect timing there, and talk about teammate strategy, perhaps. Do you think?
Stranger things have happened. There we see the tow truck going out, and there we see the activity beginning on pit road. Don Thompson, Kerry Mix, and others coming in.
Wow, much needed. Let's go to Glenn Butt pit side.
Thanks, guys. Don Thompson Jr.'s crew go to work on the home hardware Monte Carlo. Right side tires and fuel, and that's it.
Sandy Hamilton right front tire. There's Broadway Dan Rose on the jack, and young John Ryan Fitzpatrick, the son of John Fitzpatrick, number 14, who brought out the caution. That's his car too, incidentally, that number 4 car.
Donnie's going to beat Kerry Mix off pit road, but Kerry's got the fresh rubber as well, so it looks like this battle up front is going to resume between these 2 points leaders.
And look at this, DJ came in for an extra tire as well, so he's in real good shape. Same with Gibbons. It's his second stop in this race. Here comes Neil Fair off pit road in that Skoll Mack car. Don Thompson Jr., the leader, under caution, though. And there's his teammate, John Fitzpatrick, on the hook. We'll be back with more in a moment.
At Mopar, there's something new happening. Something that's going to fuel your passion. On the racetrack and in the streets, Mopar has the answer. Whether you're a pro racer, Dodge truck owner, or getting real with your sport compact, Mopar has the original equipment, parts, and accessories for your Chrysler, Jeep, or Dodge vehicle. So get in the game with parts and accessories by Mopar. Fuel your passion.
You put a lot into getting your car. the least you can do is spend a little more to protect it. Don't settle for anything less than Syntec by Castrol. Its patented technology provides ultimate protection for your engine. Syntec by Castrol. It's the most important thing you can do for your car.
At Cayuga 2000 Speedway, Molson Canadian presents the final CASCAR Super Series race of the year. Watch as Kerry Mix and DJ Kennington aim to dethrone champion Don Thompson Jr.
The Iron Man knows how to win. I've already beat them both before. Bring it on. The champ is ready.
Cayuga 2000 Speedway. Weekend family fun and overnight camping. A corn roast, live entertainment, along with CarQuest Sportsman and Championship CASCAR Super Series action. September 27th and 28th. Back to the Mosport Speedway 200 as the CASCAR field gets ready for a restart for the third time here in lap 147.
Going to be interesting to see how this strategy plays out. DJ Kennington made that second stop. Will the fresher tires help him in the long run, or are these two guys going to run away with it again?
Well, I don't suspect we'll be looking at another caution flag with about 50 or so to go here. Traditionally, we don't run a lot of caution flags here at Mosport. It's long straightaways and these very wide corners, 52 to be precise to go. These long straightaways and the big wide corners, lots of room for error out there, so we don't see a lot of cautions.
No, you're right, Ron. If you have a bit of a problem through one of the corners, you got lots of room to gather it up and get back in line. You might lose a couple of spots, but you're not going to find the wall like you will on some other tracks.
Been a solid run here for the NTM Bearing team of Mark Dilley all day and into the evening hours. Kerry Mix, so Chevrolet, Ford, and Intrepid in the top three. We've got a great manufacturers battle going on here as well.
And we've been watching a great battle up front, and Mark Dilley doesn't want those two guys to get away. He'd like to really get up there and mix it up as well.
A couple of cars back of him. We'll get a look here. There's the 37 of Kennington and the 77 of Vanderwest. Started 11th, up to 5th right now, so he's charged 6 spots. Nowhere's near the hard charger record of 19 positions gained way back in 1991. John Fitzpatrick still on pit road. Glenn Butt standing by with a report on that car.
John Fitzpatrick's crew has a look at the car. At first, they were thinking battery. Now they're not 100% sure. They're looking somewhere towards the ignition as the problem for this 14 car.
The diagnosis of the problem that much more difficult for the Fitzpatrick team. That one of the 3 Joe Plazic cars that they just purchased, and John and team getting a quick education.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, they basically just picked them up, put the numbers and decals and everything on it, brought it to the racetrack, so they don't know what to expect under that chassis. Great run here by Pete Vanderwist, a 77 car, unsponsored again, up in the top 5, but up front still Don Thompson Jr. in the 4, and Kerry Mix in the UFCW Taurus in the 02, and it looks like we're going to see another battle between these two here in the late stages.
This has been great to watch right from the drop of the green flag. Kerry Mix, Don Thompson Jr. battling it out, and it looks like Kerry wants to go back out in front. He's tucked to the inside of Donnie.
Best spot to be through that corner, and look at this. They really have to turn hard to the left to get off of 4, down to the line, and it's Kerry Mix, the race leader again.
Now that's the 8th official lead change. Every time these guys get a nose ahead, it doesn't count until they get across the start-finish line, but that's the 8th change in position between those two.
Barrie, Ontario's Mark Dilley just sitting there, maybe a kitty by the door situation. Let's go back down to Glenn.
Peter Gibbons had a tire grow on him. Now what that means is the tire grows, expands, changes the stagger, changes the handling. They've changed those tires. He thinks he's going towards the front now.
A little bit of a problem as we look at that Gibbons car right there. A little bit of a problem throughout the season with the inconsistency, I guess, for lack of a better phrase, Todd, on those tires. It changes everything. Mixing experienced stagger problems in Montreal.
Well, it started when we were traveling out west. A number of the teams talked about it at Race City in Calgary, and it's been a problem that teams have had to try to battle. When you're finding the handling on the track, the thing you don't want to have to do is battle the setup on the car as well.
Well, CASCAR Ironman Kerry Mix has a pretty good setup here. And the 4, Don Thompson Jr. came right off the trailer with a setup that won him races in 99, 2000, and 2002, and he's trying to win here in 03 as he gets to the inside of Mix.
See the brake rotor starting to glow a little bit on Kerry Mick's car. Maybe he's trying to cool him down a little bit. Donnie taking advantage. Powers off at turn number 2. He'll try and move to the inside as they enter 3 and 4. And we see the brake rotors glowing on Don's car a little bit as well. Which guy's going to have something left for the end of this one?
Well, it's just unbelievable, this race that Kerry Mix is running here. He's able to put that car wherever he wants to go right now. Now he's down to the bottom side pressuring Donnie Thompson. Well, Mark Dilley is right there in the NTM bearing intrepid. He's right there should either one of these guys mess up.
Donnie taking a peek, getting Kerry behind him again, trying to settle in, get back into that rhythm. Little bump from behind by Kerry. He wants back out in front.
Dark down here in turn number 1. At least it appears that way from this onboard camera, but the drivers know their way around. They've got a couple of lines. Kerry Mix has a couple of good lines around here. He's diamonded off the corners a few times, trying to find a way around Thompson.
Great example of the conditions that have changed all through this race that these guys have had to battle. Track heating up, track cooling down, now the light going away. Kerry battling to the inside now, Donnie.
Well, that's the closest we've seen the 64 all race. He's right up there, but here goes Mix. Inching up nose to nose, door to door, down the back straight into turn 3. Kerry Mix in the Ford, the preferred groove through this apex. Little short chicane and then off of turn 4. Who's going to be at the line? Mix that time by a nose.
The crowd is loving this. A great crowd here at the Mosport Oval, and they have been treated to a tremendous battle between these two. And which way are they going around Brian Cathcart now? To the outside, it looks like. Brian makes a nice move and goes to the inside.
Yeah, that's just a great play right there by the 71 of Brian Cathcart. Although he is a rookie this year, of course, he's raced here in the past several years ago. Now we see a good battle here. The 1 of Pete Gibbons and the 39 of David Whitlock, and also the 77 of Vanderwist.
We heard about the difficulties with the Pete Gibbons Canadian Tire Chevy a bit earlier with that problem tire. Seems like he's starting to make a little headway now. That's some smoke off, Donnie?
Yeah, it could be tire rub right there. They're really racing hard with just 27 to go. Let's hope it's only tire smoke. He's back to the inside. Here comes Mixie to diamond it off again. That's got to be tire rub, I would think.
Looks like it. I wonder if he'll be able to hang on for those final 27 laps. Kerry's going to push him a little bit and give him all that he can handle.
Well, maybe we'll find out something about those tires. Let's go to Glenn.
Sandy, they're talking about some smoke coming out of the car, but things are looking pretty good. How's he handling it?
Well, we're hoping it's not our car that we can smell here, but we think it's just maybe a bit of rubber burning off the exhaust. Everything's good in the car so far, and he's pretty comfortable. We hope we can bring her home.
Well, in the famous words of Billy Rose, who couldn't join us on the broadcast this time around, they're down to the short strokes here at Mosport.
It generates more power than ever before. It generates more heat than ever before. That's why today's harder working engine needs Castrol GTX, engineered for the best protection against viscosity and thermal breakdown of any leading oil. Castrol GTX, put it in.
For CASCAR champion Mark Dilley, everything he has is riding on NTN's heavy-duty wheel and transmission bearings. Whether you're moving race cars from track to track or hauling freight, NTN's heavy-duty wheel bearings will maximize uptime and safety. And that's why North American heavy-duty truck and trailer OEMs rely on NTN bearings to carry the load. Contact your local OEM truck dealer today about installing NTN truck and trailer precision bearings on your tractor. Ask for NTN, the heavy-duty bearing.
The laps are winding down here at Mosport as number 4, Don Thompson Jr., the national points leader, and Kerry Mix have a ferocious battle going on up front.
Kerry Mix diving to the inside of the Home Hardware Chevrolet, both with glowing brake rotors up front, but Mixie's got the lead once again.
Well, it's round number 9 of the CASCAR Super Series. Only 12 events on the schedule this year, so every point is important. And, of course, this points battle is tight as we've ever seen it in CASCAR. Mix, the leader, down the front straightaway.
And he wants Donnie right behind him all the way home because it was Donnie who was leading that points battle coming into this event, and Kerry wants to slice into it. Only a handful of laps to go.
Well, they put, we got Doug Brown here parking it in the infield area. Leaders have put quite a distance between themselves and now third place DJ Kennington. And back in fourth is the 39 of Whitlock. And there's fifth place, number 64, Mark Dilley.
Van der Wust and Gibbons also having a pretty good battle. Looking back up front, it's Kerry Mix continuing to show the way ahead of Don Thompson Jr. DJ Kennington now up into third spot. Mark Dilley, who runs so strong here tonight, seems to be having a little bit of a problem, and DJ moving forward into third.
Yeah, almost appeared last time by. Good look at that 64 car that Dilley might have had a right rear tire going down. Meantime, DJ, as we get a look at his brake rotor, is still doing the job for him here. Started ninth. He's charged up to third. Whitlock in fourth, trying to get a podium here.
Pretty good run for these Whitlock Motorsports cars of Mark Dilley and Dave Whitlock. Hopefully Dilley can hang on.
Yeah, Brian Cathcart had earlier problems, and so he went down a couple of laps here, but still a good season for him. Kerry Mixo just a couple of laps away here from pay dirt and closing this points gap on Don Thompson Jr.
Kerry Mix looking to take his second victory of the season and tighten up that points battle. You wonder, Ron, if maybe that smoke was something else with Don Thompson Jr.'s car. They said maybe just a little bit of rubber on the exhaust, but maybe there's a little more trouble with the Home Hardware Chevy.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to be able to stick with that 02 car as good. Certainly not off the corners. There's a good battle for fifth right now. The one of Pete Gibbons and the 77 of Pete Van der Wust. They've already gotten by the 64 of Dilley. And the 88 car of Dave Jacobs now might play a factor here as the leaders come up on the lap car.
Dave's a pretty clean racer. He'll do his best to get out of the way and let those leaders go by. See, pulls to the inside, and now it's Kerry Mix and Donnie taking the white flag.
It's almost anticlimactic here after all that lead swapping here about 10-15 laps ago. This is the final lap of this 200 lapper. Donnie problems off of turn number 2. It's Mix race to win or lose right now.
Coming through the final couple of corners, Kerry Mix keeping it nice and clean. Points it straight out of turn number 4 and heads for the checkered flag.
And Kerry Mix will get career victory number 13 on the CASCAR Super Series. The crew very excited, and this will certainly close the points gap in the National Championship here in 2003. And a friendly salute between the two. We'll be right back.
At Mopar, there's something new happening. Something that's going to fuel your passion. On the racetrack and in the streets, Mopar has the answer. Whether you're a pro racer, Dodge truck owner, or getting real with your sport compact, Mopar has the original equipment, parts, and accessories for your Chrysler, Jeep, or Dodge vehicle. So get in the game with parts and accessories by Mopar. Fuel your passion.
I'm DJ Kennington, driver of the number 37 Castrol Snap-on Intrepid. You know, most of the setup that goes into this car happens before we go racing, because when I hit that loud pedal, I demand performance. That's why we use Castrol Syntex. It's formulated to keep engines running cool and smooth, even when things get a little bumpy. Castrol Syntex, the most important thing you can do for your car.
Well, Kerry Mix from Mount Albert, Ontario, owns a catering business by day, and he's baking some donuts right here on the front straightaway.
Let's see, Kerry Mix. That's 8 by my count, Ron, so a little bit short of a dozen, but a great display here for this tremendous crowd that enjoyed a great battle between these two cars tonight.
Certainly was, Todd. We're looking now 11 lead changes between these two drivers, and that's the official amount of lead changes. Doesn't count how many times they seesawed back and forth through the corners and on the straightaway. Mix led from 190 on. Glenn Butt in the Chaco winner's circle.
Kerry Mix, a winner here at the Mosport Speedway 200. What an awesome run.
Wow, that was quite the race. That's why I like racing. That was a lot of fun. You know, me and Donnie passed each other back and forth there, and you know, it's we're gonna not give up on this championship. You know, we're gonna try to the bitter end, and got to thanks to all the crew and UFCW and everybody, and right on.
And as mentioned, 13th career win for Kerry Mix. Let's take a look at the top 10 here in Mosport. Thompson second, DJ Kennington a solid third, Whitlock fourth, Pete Gibbons settles into fifth. There's Van der Wust, a solid run for him. Dilley slid back in the late going, Neil Fair, Jim Lapsevich, and Dave Jacobs. Back to Glenn.
Donnie, a hard-fought race and a tough night. A second-place finish, though, considering what you guys have been through, pretty good.
Yeah, we'll take it for sure. The Home Hardware Chevy, it worked pretty good all day. Guys had an excellent stop. Got me out first. We freed up the car. It was a little bit tight during the first session, and might have freed it up a bit much. A lot of oil and whatnot out there, probably coming off my car, but Home Hardware car ran good, and we'll take it, move on to the next one.
What a great points battle we've got going now between Don Thompson Jr., Kerry Mix. Only 18 points separating the top runners, and even through the top 10, some terrific battles all the way through those point standings. Back down to Glenn one more time.
DJ, a third place finish, keeping the points alive. A good run.
Yeah, a really good run. The Castrol Snap-on Intrepid was just awesome today. And got to thank all our sponsors, Castrol, Snap-on, Fast Eddie, Choco, Advantech, Super 8, Mopar, especially everybody that does a lot for us. Can't thank them enough. And like I say, with all those people, we wouldn't be here. Man, the car was good. I just wish we didn't have there was a little bit of oil out there at the end, and I just couldn't get a run on Donnie. But it would have been fun to get up there and maybe mix it up with the two of them. But we'll take third and head on to the next one.
All right, congratulations to DJ and obviously Donnie Thompson and Kerry Mix right there. He had a lot of people from the UFCW head office in the Chaco Winners Circle congratulating him here tonight. The Mosport Speedway 200 has been brought to you by Castro Syntec, the most important thing you can do for your car. By Mopar, original equipment, parts, and accessories. Fuel your passion. And by Home Hardware, help is close to home.
There's the top three on the victory podium. And Ron, we enjoyed 200 laps of great racing in this one. How about 300 laps for the Great Canadian 300? That's our next event.
Delaware Speedway, my old alma mater right there, and I'm looking forward to getting in there. These guys, DJ Kennington's an old Delaware guy. Should be a good one.